Let's go! LSU football fans, this could be our most important video ever because I'm about to give semi sort of financial advice here as far as the opening 3-week game schedule because I get questions all the time about how do I go to an LSU game? I've never been, and it's quite crazy how many LSU fans that are super fans of the team, it's your favorite thing on the planet, and you've never got to experience nighttime in Death Valley. So what I'm going to need is my real LSU veterans to help me out in the comment section that have been to games and know the logistics of Baton Rouge to help me out, because I do think that there is a game amongst these three that will make the most sense. We'll get to in a second. But first, my opening thoughts on the opening 3-week games. And as you see, it's a little bit of a different background. I am actually staying in probably the nicest place I think I've ever been to. I'll share that as well a little bit later. But more importantly, you get a kickoff game against UCLA. Let's talk about some actual football, and then we'll get to logistics in a second. UCLA is going to be a really solid team, and I understand that they're not USC. They're not a big football name brand, and they've not had a whole lot of success with Chip Kelly. But the most important thing you need to know is that this is one of the more experienced teams Chip Kelly will have, and they'll be returning to their dual threat quarterback. Obviously, we've discussed this before. The biggest change on LSU schedule from last year to this year is that last year, they played mostly, exclusively, pure pocket quarterbacks. This next season is going to be littered with dual-threat quarterbacks. So, I know we're so excited to see the new look Durante Jones defense. We've also seen something really fascinating. Eli Ricks tweeting out how happy he's going to be back in California. And I know we're so excited to see this new Jake Peetz offense, no matter who the quarterback's going to be. But remember, UCLA is not going to be just some run over, especially considering LSU has been so dominant in neutral site games. My first thing as far as advice is concerned about going to Pasadena, I was lucky enough to actually go to the Rose Bowl 2 years ago. The pageantry and the parades and sunset and all those things. Now, obviously, you're not going to get a parade, but you're going to get to see this really mythical stadium, and it did live up to the hype. So if you are sitting there and you're trying to decide, am I actually going to do this? Everything's opening back up. Am I actually going to go YOLO and make this trip? If you've never been to an LSU game, I wouldn't go to this one. But if you have been to a ton of LSU games, if you've done all the bowl games and all that stuff, make this trip. Sell your tickets to other games and make this trip. It is really that spectacular. So it's going to be a little different. Parking and stuff like that obviously is different, so do your research. But my experience, everything lived up to the hype and exceeded expectations. So McNeese game is very fascinating. However, that is not the game I'm going to recommend you guys going to. But it is going to be spectacular. Our first time back in a full Death Valley. It's going to be awesome to just see the lights and the sounds and Dan Bournet on the PA announcer. It's the tailgating, everything's going to be fantastic. So hopefully a lot of you that will be going to that game, obviously there's the in-state, not necessarily rivalry, but ties. A lot of us have friends, family members that have gone to McNeese, been faculty there. And Ed Orgeron, of course, has had his son play quarterback there as well. So, obviously, that first McNeese game, tickets are going to be off the charts for that game. However, this is where I'm going to need the help of my fellow LSU guys that have been to Death Valley and Tiger Stadium a gazillion times over. I'm going to make this statement because this does come down to financial advice, and I don't want to mislead anyone when it comes to this. I do think if you are planning a bucket list trip with your family to go to one game, Central Michigan is the game to go to. And I understand that sounds weird, but hear me out. Now, I want you to try and guess who this famous Central Michigan number 27, he looks like a walk-on in this picture. He's got the deer in the headlights look. I want you to just guess. If you're watching this at a premiere or if you're watching this just in a regular video, just give a guess who the Central Michigan legend is. It looks kind of retro, but this is the great Antonio Brown. This does not look like, and you guys know this, most great NFL players wore single-digit numbers as skill guys in college. It's so weird seeing a number 27 wide receiver, the New Balance uniforms. Everything about this photo is absolutely insane. So obviously, Central Michigan doesn't have some rich football history, and it is pretty freaking wild that Central Michigan is even coming to LSU. It's such a random non-conference team, but of course you have these win-a-win type of games against non-power fives. And I understand that sounds weird. You're telling me that I should go to Central Michigan for my first Tiger Stadium game. Yes, especially if you're on a budget. Now, the reason why I think you can get some good tickets for this game, and trust me, if it's your first time, upper bowl tickets are not bad. They really aren't. But if you want to make sure you're in the lower bowl and you want to get 2 to 4 tickets, what happens a lot of times, and this is just how I view the ticket market, a lot of you might view it differently. I view it like this. A lot of fans are going to go to that first game versus McNeese, but knowing that there are going to be better home games on the schedule, such as Florida, they're going to want to go to that game, and they're going to want to go to Auburn and all these other bigger home games, even Arkansas, on the schedule, more so than they're going to want to go to Central Michigan. So what I think is going to happen, especially if it's early in the season, the ticket market is going to flood with people trying to make a buck so they can, make up the price for the season tickets at first. And you're going to get some decent value on tickets as far as, getting your whole family to get to go. And of course, you should be able, if you get on this now, to get some decent hotels or whatever, as far as staying in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, that's up to you, or Lafayette, and just make a drive, rent a car, or whatever. I think that would be something very fascinating. But to me, the most important thing about the Central Michigan game goes along with the other two. You know that this game is going to be at night, and that is so critical. That is a non-negotiable at this point. The game will be played at night. So the most important thing is, obviously, when you go to Tiger Stadium, you want to experience nighttime in Tiger Stadium with the lights, with the fireworks, with the runouts, with all these different things. You want to go to a night game. And here's the thing. The other games aren't for certain to be night games. That's not how television contracts work. Because obviously LSU and Florida are both going to be good. If CBS decides to pick that game for their week, they'll put that game at 2:30. And obviously a 2:30 kickoff is not bad. It's not an 11 a.m. kickoff, even though I have some fun experiences from that 2008 Appalachian game or that 2011 Tyrann Matthew strip sack versus Kentucky. But you want to experience the lights and the full environment. And yes, it's not going to be an SEC environment, but as SEC Tiger Stadium LSU veterans that have been to 1,000 games will know, LSU SEC game tickets can be very expensive, especially with this being the first year back. So, obviously, based on everything that we've been through over the past year and a half, 2 years, whatever, there are no guarantees. You are not guaranteed tomorrow. And if you've never been to a night game in Tiger Stadium, it does live up to the hype. Is this game going to have the same energy? Is it going to have the same energy? Are you okay? Yeah. Did you hit your hand on there? Yeah. What are you doing? All right, everyone, I checked. Hey's hand is okay, but I'll share where we are in just a second. Anyway, if you do go to Central Michigan, you're still going to get the tailgating. You're still going to get Dan Bornay on the PA announcer. You're going to get the Golden Band from Tigerland. You're going to get the Tigers running out. So you're at least going to get a very intense quarter, the thing that you actually go to, the Tiger Walk, whatever you want to mention, and you can do it. I'm just guessing. Maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe because I didn't go to a game last season. I only went to a few in 2019. So maybe a few veterans that know more about, these non-Power 5 games could help me out on this. But anyway, we are in Alabama. Haley has some family here, and we have visited, and we are staying like on a really nice golf course here in Fairhope, and this is wild. This house, it's crazy. There's and I've seen some LSU fans down here just being here just a few hours, so I like it. Shout out to Big Al in Huntsville and a few of our other Bama viewers. Let's go. You can check out all our other content from this week down below. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! Oh yeah, we're doing steaks tonight. Let's go.